What's up everybody? Today we are gonna look at two different questions. First of all, who is the greatest short sprinter ever? And second of all, is Noah Lyles the greatest short sprinter of this current generation? Now that this is said, the video is gonna have two parts. The first part is only going to be the top 10 and I'm not going to explain anything. How I give the points, how I made the ranking, etc. But if you want to know all the stats, behind those rankings, just stay after the top 10 because I'm going to explain everything in details. Alright, now that this is being said, let's get started with the top 10. And if you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so these are the different statistics that I'm looking at today. First of all, we have the PB, then we have the average of their top 10 best times, then the number of sub 10 and sub 20 clocking, this is very important, and finally the number of medal. And this is the most important one and the one that is giving the most point. And we are starting this off by looking at the PB and the 1 and 200 meters. Do I need to tell you who is first? I mean, it's Usain Bolt. He has the 2 world records, so he has 20 points for that. This is the maximum point that you can have. Then after that, we have Yohan Blake because he's the second fastest of all time in both events. Then we have Tyson Gay with 969 and 1958 with 15 points. Then we have Justin Gatlin because he's really fast in the 100 meters, but also very good in the 2. And finally, we have Noah Lyles with a big PR of 19.31 in the 200 meters. This 200 meter race is giving him a lot of points. So I mean, nothing special here. It was expected. The PR is the most simple stats. So let's jump to the more complicated stats. And in this section, we are looking at the average of their top 10 best performance in both events. And in first place, obviously it's Usain Bolt. I mean, 9.72 average in the 100 meters, then 19.47 of average in the 200 meter. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, those times are so fast that it's like in the top 5 of all time in both events. But for Usain, it's just the average of his top 10 best performance. Absolutely crazy. Then surprisingly, we have 3 people with the same number of points, and these people are Noah Lyles, Tyson Gay, and Justin Gatlin. For Noah Lyles, the obvious reason is because he's really consistent in a 19.4 high or 19.5 low in the 200 meters, and that gave him an average of 19.50, which is like ridiculous. Then for Tyson Gay and Justin Gatlin, this is the same reason. It's just because they are so good in the 100 meters. Like the average of Justin Gatlin is 9.77 and his PR is 9.74. This is just crazy. How can you be so close to your PR? I don't know, it was just too consistent. Then Tyson Gay 2 best performance of 9.69 and 9.71 played a big role in that result also. And finally, in 5th place was Yohan Blake with an average of 9.80 in the 100 meter, which is very good, and an average of 19.75 in the 200 meter, which is good, but considering that he's the second fastest of all time, this is like kind of not so good, just because, I mean, 19.2, man, like you cannot have an average of 19.7 when your PR is that fast. Just look at Noah Lyles, for example, 19.3 and 19.5, and pretty much the same thing happened with his 100 meter average also. Next, we are gonna look at the number of sub 10 and sub 20 clocking by each athlete. And in first place, once again, it's Usain Bolt. But for the first time, he hasn't the maximum point. He has only 15 points. But that is making sense because Noah Lyles has the most sub 20 clocking by an athlete and Asafa Powell the most sub 10 clocking. And that's why Usain has only 15 points. Then we have Noah Lyles with 14 points because, like I said, he has the most sub 20. Then after that we have Justin Gatlin with 64 sub 10 and 9 sub 20. Then Asafa Powell, 97 sub 10 seconds. This is just absolutely ridiculous, and 2 sub 20. This is honestly a shame that he wasn't able to catch some good medals with those times, because I don't know, man, 97 sub 10 seconds and your only medal or 2 bronze. Yeah, he was really choking in the big championships. Finally, we have Johan Blake with 46 sub 10, which is very good, but only 9 sub 20 seconds. Like I said before, he is a 19.2 runner with only 9 sub 20. This is absolutely crazy. Like, this stats is just mind-blowing, but still he make 10 points with that. And finally we have the last category, which is the number of medal. And for the number of points, it's going to depend on the color of the medal. It's 3 points for the gold, 2 points for the silver, and 1 point for the bronze. Simple as that. And can you guess who is in first place? It's Usain Bolt. 13 gold medal, 1 silver and 1 bronze. I don't have to explain anything, he was just built different. Then after that, Justin Gatlin, 4 gold medal, 5 silver and 2 bronze. He was there for a long time, and if Usain wasn't there, Justin would have had a lot more gold medal, like in 2015 or in 2016. Then after that, we have the legend Carl Lewis with 6 gold medal, 1 silver and 1 bronze. He was really dominating at the time, but the fact is that he was also the best long jumper and also probably the best ever, so this is just like straight up ridiculous to dominate in the 100 meters, in the 200 meters, and also in the long jump at the same time. And finally, with the same number of points, we have Frankie Fredericks and also Noah Lyles. Alright, now that we've taken a look at all of the stats, it's time to reveal what is the top 10 best short sprinter of all time. And here is the final result. I don't know if you're surprised by the result, but I was. I mean, Noah Lyles third, I wasn't expecting this, but I mean, recently he's been winning a lot, and he's always been fast and consistent, so that makes sense. Now, the other thing that was really shocking to me is how far Usain is of everybody. This is absolutely crazy. 97 points to 64. Yeah, just completely ridiculous. And also, as you can see, Fred Curley, Kenny Benarek and Noah Lyles are making their way to the top, and they have time to grab a lot more points, so it's going to be interesting to see in the future how the list is going to evolve. If you're still there, it's because you want to look at the stats, how I made my ranking, how I give the point, etc. And I'm going to explain everything in this part. So this was the statistics for the 100 meter, then we have the stats for the 200 meter, and finally we have both just right there and the ranking right over there. But if we start from the beginning, here is the top 10 average, the number of points for everybody, the personal best, the number of sub 10 seconds, and finally the number of medal. I'm not going to go in detail in every stats, but if you want to pause the video, do as you wish and look at everybody. It's very interesting and there is a lot of great stats here. Like the fact that Michael Johnson was very bad in the 100 meter, like very bad. And also that Ferdinand Ameniala best times are all made in Kenya. Like this is made in Kenya and this is made in Kenya. So he has only a 9.85 not in Kenya, and this is absolutely ridiculous. Then another stats that I was finding also very weird is the fact that Michael Johnson 19.32 is like an anomaly. If you look at his second fastest time, it's 19.66. It's ridiculous. How can you run 19.3 then your second fastest time is 19.6? Like if you look at Katie Benarek, for example, he has 19.5, 19.5, 19.6, 19.6667. Like it's very close. Same thing for Teboho, same thing for Lyles. Well, for Lyles is 19.31 is an outsider, but after that 46, 47, 50, 52, and it's not as bad as Michael Johnson. Alright, but now here is all of the stats for the 200 meter. If you want to pause the video, then this is for the 100 meters. And finally, if you look at both of them, you can see that Usain Bolt was just the best in everything, and that's why he's just the number one. Then as you can see, Tyson Gay very good in the 100 meters, but kinda not so good in the 2. Same thing for Gatlin. Carl Lewis made all of his point by just the medal. Maurice Green also 13 points with the medal. Asafa Powell was a very good 100 meter runner, but he hasn't won a lot of medal, and that's why he has only 27 points with that. And because he was a bad 200 meter runner. Then Michael Johnson very good in the 200 meter, but very bad in the 1. That's okay. Then we have Arian, very good in the 2, but he doesn't run the 1. Noah Lyles, very good in the 2, and also like kind of average, but also very good in the 1. Teboho, very good in the 2, kind of not very good in the 1. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the stats I'm going to show you. And then finally, if you look at the ranking, after Kenny, it was Andre DeGrasse, and that makes sense. Adol Bolden, let's see the Teboho, Christian Coleman, Asafa Powell, Michael Johnson, and finally Walter Dix. If you look at the ranking for the 100 meter, we have Usain Bolt, Justin Gatlin, Maurice Green, Tyson Gay, etc. And Noah Lyles was in 10th place. Then in the 200 meter, Usain Bolt obviously. Noah Lyles is actually second, but that makes sense. Then Frankie Fredericks, Michael Johnson, Kenny Benarek, Arian, Teboho, Gatlin. One interesting fact is that Frankie is higher than Johnson just because he has run a lot more 200 meter and has won a lot of medal in that event. So yeah, that's it guys. I think we can, answer the 2 questions. Usain Bolt is the best ever and Noah Lyles is the greatest in this generation. So that was it guys. I hope that you've liked the video. If you do, like and subscribe to the channel like usual. Tell me in the comment section, do you agree or disagree with my top 10, with how I made the points, etc. and on this. See you in the next.